Hello, Abigail here with Tarotscopes for Leo season, Pisces sun, moon, and rising. My Pisces, this Leo season is a continuation of a story we have been in for a minute now. If you really want to know kind of what's going on in more detail, you can check out my Leo season video. But in fine, it is another Mercury retrograde. We had one last year. We had a Venus retrograde before that, so it definitely feels like we're kind of moving towards a story. Also, the Mars retrograde was partially in the early degrees of Leo, so there's really a lot of stories intertwined and coming to a close and climaxing and peaking and ending. And so just know that Leo season and this retrograde feels a bit bigger than a lot of other retrogrades. I mean, we already had kind of a doozy in the spring with the Aries retrograde, which is tied to this by a trine, also early degrees. So there's a lot of overlap and a lot of themes reoccurring. You have some really beautiful cards, I will say. Um, Not that other people's cards are bad, but I do think this has a lot to do with the fact that your ruler is now in a sign where it is happy, where it is exalted, and feeling really thrilled to be out of detriment and into an exaltation. So, really enjoy yourself this Leo season. Yes, there is chaos. Yes, there's a Mercury retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Pluto retrograde. But within this, I think you're going to find some really lovely gifts and um, space for the future that you desire. But let's get into it. So, starting off, we have this lovely, lovely Six of Wands. This is about progression and celebration. I think there's something to celebrate in Leo season for you, whether it is a connection or an accomplishment or something you have long desired. There is some joy and some hope in Leo season. And I think it's a call as well to celebrate the steps along a journey. You know, truly, the longer I live, the more I believe that there is no there's no destination in life, simply moments on the trail and the path and the journey of life where we get to find joy and safety and peace. And I think there are some of these moments on the trail of your life that you get to really celebrate in this season. So I definitely encourage you to um, really dive in and feel that sense of progress and look back so you can kind of look ahead, see how far you have come and how much closer you are to your dreams and desires. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. um, and then we have this beautiful Ace of Pentacles. We are planting something new and lovely in this season. Also, fun fact, we have a really potent new moon, which, while it is going to be deeply overwhelming, is really ripe for long term commitments with the understanding that um, we're still in a very transitory time. So, whatever you plant now, I think, is going to be viable and beautiful, but it's not going to turn out any way you think it will. If you plant a seed with this new moon, I think something really beautiful and magical and unexpected will come from it. You just need to plant it, releasing the outcome and inviting the universe in to create something really lovely and beautiful and unique with the energy that you put out into it. So it will require pulling a few of the fingers off of the wheel and letting the universe take control. But what is being a Pisces placement for, if not to sink into the ether a little bit? We do have the Emperor. So while we are sinking into the ether, we do need to ground down. I also think this is a call to really calling in your power, to really standing in what you believe. Sometimes I find, not always, but Pisces placements can be a little overly okay with being shunted around, with making space for others. And I think the time has come for you not to abandon that lovely gift and skill, but to really set boundaries about the place that you believe you should be in and the places you deserve. Also, a reminder that Saturn and Neptune are retrograding back towards your sign, and they'll be there for a hot minute. I think they move Pardon me. I think they move officially out of Pisces late January, early February of 2026, having their conjunction on the 21st of February, 2026. That's going to be a really big deal for you once they are officially out of your sign and finishing that journey. And I think a part of Saturn and Pisces is you really rooting yourself down and affirming who you are as a person and having boundaries around people's access to you. Pisces placements are lovely for access and openness, but it also does sometimes engender an energy from other people of taking without reciprocating, of putting down ideas, of not believing in you and taking all of that energy to enrich themselves. And so now it's a time to pour into yourself, to enrich yourself, to take those Saturnian lessons and really apply them to you and what you need and what you deserve as a person. Um, this also probably requires some boundary setting, which is not a huge surprise considering that we are dealing with a Mercury retrograde. Usually we are called to set boundaries. I think this is also a lot of boundary setting around values and access to your heart and to the really tender parts of you. I'm not saying that you can't be open and loving, that not everyone deserves to be let in. So definitely put up some protection. I also think that the universe is kind of waiting on you to put up some boundaries in order for them to be able to give you something that you deserve without other people rushing in and grabbing it and taking it from you. The universe wants you to have it and you alone, and then for you to share it in the way that you feel best rather than having it taken away by someone who is greedy. And then we have this lovely star. And I love when the star comes up because it's a reminder about hope. It's also a reminder that there are other beings and entities and ancestors and spirits who are here to guide and protect us. I encourage you during this retrograde to really connect to as many spirits and guides as possible and to drink from the deep well of energy that they have to offer us as spiritual beings. It's also a reminder that you are on the path you need to be on and that you need to hope and believe. It can sound a little trite to say that, but it does feel with this spread, it's so hopeful and so empowering that you are on a really good path that I don't think is going to turn out the way you expect it to, but I think it's going to turn out better. So believe whatever moment you are in, whether it is easy or hard, believe that things are working out in your favor. And then the bottom of the deck, we have the Magician. There's so much new stuff in the season. It's also a reminder that we are heading into our lovely eclipse season in Virgo season, your opposing sign. So we're kind of heading into a lot of huge shifts, and the stuff that you set in place now will be taken over by the universe and slingshotted into the future. So be thoughtful about the seeds you're planting, be intentional. There's also a 0 degree Virgo new moon, which kind of slips under the eclipse radar because it's right out of orb for those eclipse nodes, um, which I think will be a fun time to kind of slip in a few manifestations for the eclipses without kind of dropping it straight into chaos. So really be creative and open. Having the Magician and the Ace of Pentacles is a really lovely sign that things are going to work out and that you have a lot of wonderful things that are starting in this moment. I have been called to read 2 cards from the bottom of the deck this whole time. Every time I pull it, I know I have to read the second card. La Tower. This is the beginning probably of your eclipse story in this season. So the full moon in Capricorn and the full moon in Aquarius are both ruled by Saturn. So a lot of Saturnian themes of deconstructing and constructing and boundaries are coming, and also the eclipses are coming. I do think that with how these cards are, this lightning strike is meant to clear and purge so that there is more space for these lovely manifestations and dreams and desires to grow. So don't panic when things start burning down. Um, in farming, there's a practice of controlled burns. The indigenous have used controlled burns for years. View this as a controlled burn. It fertilizes the soil, it removes brush, it opens things up in order for things to do. It prevents actual wildfires from taking over. Um, so view this as preparation and as a solidification of these things that you're putting out into the world and the path that you are on. Just because some stuff is going to crumble doesn't mean that you haven't done the right thing. It just means that those things didn't matter and that there are better things being put in place, more stable, more abundant, more rich and overflowing. So while I know there are going to be a lot of highs and lows in this season, know that you have a beautiful Jupiter and Cancer ruling you and tons of space to celebrate and plant and firmly ground yourself into who you are and the future you desire for yourself. All right, my Pisces loves, this is my reading for you. If you liked any of this, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in a different space and time. Blessed Leo season.